Hello YouTube, this is Out of the Cave Philosophy. I haven't filmed so many videos for this page in such a long time, or at least in this intensity, which is a shame because I should pay more attention to this channel. But here recently I posted on my Satsu 5 channel about OpenAI, a web page that has artificial intelligence. You ask it questions or prompts and it gives you a response, and I'm fact checking it. And I did like a little sneak preview on a Satsu 5 channel, which is my gear testing channel. It's based on outdoor gear, everyday carry gear, and self-defense gear. And my life in general, as far as what I'm interested in. That's how that channel got started. And I posted a sneak peek of that video on Satsu 5 because I got a lot of new subscribers and I wanted to point them to this channel, and a lot of them did not follow, but hey, they were more interested in hobbies, not ideals, theology, and philosophy, which is a shame. But anyways, I posted a longer version of this video, not quite as edited, not as much post-production, because it was a longer video and I don't do a whole lot of post-production. But I posted this video, OpenAI being fact-checked, misinformation about Mohamed. And this one guy, Rue White, says, why the F are you even looking this up? Very good question. Now, I tried filming that video several times, and I had a wide variety of subject matter, and then some of the footage got corrupted for whatever reason, I don't know. But basically I was asking OpenAI, did Muhammad own black slaves? Did Muhammad have a child bride? Stuff like that. And I was asking OpenAI these questions. Did Islam promote slavery? Did Muhammad promote beating the wives? So on and so forth. And time again, OpenAI was giving us an airbrushed, completely cool modern version of Muhammad, which is not scriptural to Islam. And it's a shame because there's going to be a lot of people go on AI and think, oh, it's artificial intelligence. They know what they're talking about. In this video, I ask the question, give the AI, artificial intelligence, a prompt, and then I go to the sources on Muslim websites, Quran, Hadith, so on and so forth, and I prove AI wrong. And that's where this comment's coming from. Why the F are you looking this up? Very good question, Rue White, or Wright, whatever. This is what I wrote, and I might add more commentary to it. Why not look that stuff up? I said, why not? I study theology on my spare time and enjoy learning apologetics. If I'm going to disagree with a worldview, don't you think I should know what it teaches? And that's kind of my point of view. If you're religious at all, you might want to know the reasons why you believe what you believe, and you want to know the reasons why you don't believe what you don't believe. And for a lot of people, a lot of Christians, they just grew up in the Bible Belt, or they grew up in the West, and they grew up in the church, and they don't question it. They don't think about, is this true? Is this false? Do I have reasons to believe this? This is just what I grew up learning, and this is the camp that I'm in. But some of us go, is Christianity true? Is Islam true? What about Mormonism? What about Jehovah's Witness? Do we have reasons to say that one is true and the other is false? And, there was a point in my life where I was questioning things. I was having these questions that I thought were just blasphemous to think. It's like, how dare I question God? And how dare I ask these questions? Shouldn't, I just believe? Which, keep in mind, faith is not blind. It's belief with reasons. I think the Greek word is pistos. I might have mispronounced that. Anywho, in the Bible, Paul, Peter, they give reasons for their beliefs. And That is apologia or apologetics in Greek. So, when I finally found people answering these questions, and I'm like, hey, I'm not just believing this on pure emotion. I'm not just, I have actual evidence. That's a cool feeling. You know that you have reason behind you. But also you have other people that you want to talk to about your good reasons to believe in Jesus of the Bible and not the Quran. And keep in mind, how I got introduced to Christian apologetics, it was that I found David Wood's channel, Acts 17 Apologetics. And what happened was I was watching a lot of things with Ben Shapiro, and then there was this other conservative commentator that was talking about Islam, and he mentioned something about Surah 9 and how Islam is violent. And for whatever reason, after watching that video, David Wood's channel, Acts 17 Apologetics, showed up. And first it was like, oh man, this is kind of funny. I can't believe Muslims believe this. Like, some Muslims actually believe that you can prove that the Quran is true because cats will not walk on it, and cats are Muhammad's favorite pet or animal. And it's like, wow, that's so silly. But then you start to thinking, wow, these people actually believe this. They put their faith in it. And so I watched Acts 17 Apologetics for a while. I learned about Nabil Qureshi, and I eventually got the book Seeking Allah and Finding Jesus. This book was very impacting on me. I was like, wow, after reading this book, I was in tears. I was transformed in a way. It's like, wow, I got to take this stuff seriously, and I need to talk about it. I don't just need to believe it. I need to be like, hey, this is what I believe, and I believe you're wrong. I'm going to give you these reasons. And I'm not good at this. I'm not good at talking to people in person, regardless of what you might see here on the camera. In fact, I am very socially awkward, and I am scared to death of interpersonal communication. Mingling in small groups at parties or gatherings is very scary to me. But give me a microphone, I can talk in general if I'm one quarter knowledgeable about what I'm talking about. And that's where I'm at. So, anyways, that's why I looked it up. And why did I choose Islam? Because David Wood and Nabil Qureshi were the only Christian apologists that I really knew about. And I was like, well, Nabil Qureshi converted to Christianity because he hung out with his friend David Wood. David Wood is a Christian apologist, and he deals with Islam. I was like, well, I thought that's what Christian apologists do, is they study Islam and talk about how it's false, which is not 100% true. Christian apologetics encompass many things, like atheism, Buddhism, Hinduism, any subgroup of people who might question Christianity. There's an apologist that probably handles that specific subject. So, why do I study Islam? Because the people who got me interested in Christianity did. And just a FYI, I've been baptized for a long time, but I didn't really take it seriously for a long time. So I got baptized, went to church for a while, and then I kind of, in the high school time period, well, more or less college, I kind of drifted away. And then, after college, some things happened, and I had what I believe to be divine intervention. For those of you who don't know, I suffer from chronic clinical depression. And if I run out of my pills, life sucks. And I had some events where I ran out of medication. Life sucked. And I was in a very terrible place. And I begged God for help. And he flipped the switch. And I was like, life doesn't suck as bad as I thought it did. But, these religious experiences and stuff, they're good to get your attention. But after a while, you'll start to think to yourself, was that really God? Did I just psych myself up into a good mood? And that's why I think evidence is very important to your belief. I like to think we all have religious experiences when we become Christian and we're like, hey, these prayers were answered, so on and so forth. But just because God answers a prayer, or maybe God doesn't answer a particular prayer that you really wanted to be answered, He's still true. There's still reasons to believe that He's true, that He's the real deal. So I think that, one, if I'm going to reach people who reject Jesus, I need to know a little bit what they believe. Two, I need to know what these other beliefs are so I can decide if they have good reasons to be true or not true. And so, that's why I like Christian apologetics, is because it gives you a foundation to say, hey, it's not just emotion that I'm reacting to. There was actually evidence, and there was more evidence for this Jesus than there is for this Allah and Muhammad. Keep in mind, I'm not doubting the existence of Muhammad. I'm just saying that Muhammad used Allah as a sock puppet, or he was demonically possessed. There's evidence for both. But that's why I study Islam, and I don't study Islam as much as I used to. Those other things that, I try to learn about and stuff. I try to sharpen my Christology a little bit. I learned about the Gnostics, which also kind of goes back to Islam as Muhammad's inspiration. I try to read the Church Fathers, different commentators and apologists like William Lane Craig, what's his name? Why Jesus Matters in a World That Rejects Him. But there's an awesome author / Christian apologist. He is a ex cold case detective. Now he's full-time apologist and pastor, I think. Person of interest. Why Jesus Matters in a World That Rejects Him. J. Warner Wallace. J. Warner Wallace is a super cool author, and he has Cold Case Christianity and Person of Interest. Recommend those books all the way. Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus by Nabil Qureshi. Recommend that book. No God But One by Nabil Qureshi. Recommend that book. If you want to know reason. Anyways, this video is getting long enough. And that is the reason why I look up if Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl that was prepubescent playing with dolls. That's why I look up the accounts of Muhammad owning black slaves. Not only did he own black slaves, he traded 2 black slaves for 1 Arabic slave and released the Arabic slave. That's why I look up if Muhammad promoted prostitution or if Muhammad promoted wife beating. That's why I look up those things. A lot of weird and bizarre things. And a lot of the things I'm quoting come from the Hadith. Think of the Quran as the direct word of God. The only way he enters creation is through the Quran. But the Hadith are the sayings of Muhammad, and they're narrated by his followers and his wife and stuff. So, the Hadith is the second most important book in Islam, but it's not scripture. It's the life and times of Muhammad, I like to call it, but it's actually the sayings of Muhammad. So when you want to read about Muhammad saying that Muslims can only have 4 wives, and they can be prepubescent, but Muhammad can have as many wives as he wants because he's Allah's main guy, you read the Hadith. And the Hadith is where Sharia law comes in. Sharia is literally the path to water, and Sharia law comes from the Hadith, not the Quran. And the Quran is the Hadith is inspired by the Quran. But I think in the Quran, Muhammad is mentioned 3 or 4 times. The Hadith is all about Muhammad. So that's it. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you feel like studying. So that's it. I'm out of the cave philosophy, and I'm out.